What's up, battlers? Sam Battlefield here. Thanks for joining me on this, my journey through CLA, coaching, submission grappling, etc. Some awesome news through CJI. My man, Greg Souders, he is going to be one of the fucking coaches. And he's coaching against who I think, from what I understand, it's Lachlan Giles. Obviously, I'm an Aussie, so, you know, knowing that Lachlan was one of the coaches was fucking dope. I mean, obviously, Craig Jones is Aussie. But this is one of the fucking biggest... Look, sorry, it is, like, the biggest event, in my opinion, anyway, in grappling this year and last, right? It was the most talked about. It had the biggest prize. It was, you know, it was the most innovative with how it ripped off the uniqueness of Karate Combat's pit, you know, to make the alley. You know, and here's something, right? And then Greg Souders jumps on that B Team podcast the other day, and you know he actually looked pretty a bit more personable. DeAndre Corby is one of the best translators for him. He's one of the, like, I think Greg is one of the best ambassadors because of his no nonsense approach. But I think in many ways DeAndre is able to translate to layman speak, to Big Dan speak, you know. And man, it's fucking cool to see. Like CLA, we've been CLA since 2023, at the start of the wave, at the start of, like, not even start of the wave, start of the controversy. Alex came to me and was like, CLA, I think, is the way. I was like, probably not. This is mid 2023, like, and then end of 2023, I was all in, like, guaranteed all in, right? And in that time, people were shitting on it. I'm talking we've got the receipts. Here's the thing, there's going to be so many people. There's going to be so many people out there that are going to be like, oh yeah, but we were thinking about it and we were doing it and like all this kind of stuff, like Bulletproof for BJJ podcast. They're now like balls deep. And it's like, it's not only them, like I'm not talking just them. There's all these people that are like, they're drinking the Kool-Aid, you know? But the Kool-Aid's like actually making them better, you know? They're testing it out. They're going, fuck, this is actually much better. I can see how this works. Yeah, this is an update. You know, this is an upgrade to my training. And there's gonna, like, we've got the receipts, bro. So, you know, what's his name? The Aussie, Aussie bloke, big guy, went up against Gordon Ryan, did quite well. He's an amazing athlete. He's a great jiu-jitsu guy. But you know, I just always see I've put it on this channel before, but I always see him like, you know, he's getting interviewed and it's like, so do you like any of this ecological stuff? No, fucking no. Why not? Because I'm not a fucking idiot, that's why. And it's like, oh, okay, yeah. And then you watch any of his content and it's lit, and he's like, here's how I went from fucking white belt to brown belt in less than 4 years. And basically you do it by slicing the game up, and working this way, and it's like, yep, okay. Anyway, yeah, I watch some of these guys. Like, I watch some of these guys' content, and I try and see if there's any nugget of knowledge or anything like that I can bring into class, you know. But this is such a big fucking thing for the CLA game, obviously. This is people starting to realise, oh shit, this is actually, you know, DeAndre. They kept on asking us. They kept on asking, where's your fucking world champions? Right? Where's your world champions? And it was like, yeah, true. Like, we don't have any world champions, but here's the reasons why it doesn't make sense that we'd even have world champions yet. Fucking, it's fairly new in the sport. It's fairly new in sport, particularly amateur sport or non-professional sport. So fairly new in that. A minute amount of people have taken it up in comparison to the practitioner population, and yet we were still, you know, DeAndre and I'm bringing obviously DeAndre up a heap, man. Like, props to DeAndre, man. You're a fucking legend. But then they'd have their counters like, oh, DeAndre he didn't start out as a fucking, he was a black belt already, he drilled a tons of times. But, you know, all these people who were black belts who went into CLA, and they're like, yeah, fuck, I should have done CLA from the start. You know, why aren't we listening to those guys as well? So, man, yeah, it's hilarious. It's awesome. I'm like, man, I fucking love it. You know, I love CLA. I love the fact that there's all these underlying things, you know, that have interested me no end. I mean, I'm still blowing my own mind, regularly reading different papers, books, things that, you know, that have the theoretical underpinnings. You know, I'm designing. I've got, so for example, as a bit of a week wrap up, we've been doing this open guard stuff still, and like I love getting props from Levi. We had this, so there's been a bit of upheaval. So I'll start with, you know, a bit of a recap. There's been a bit of upheaval in the gym, in that, in the morning class, because some of the more consistent guys, life's changed, and so they're not as consistent. So we're no longer being able to do like Monday to Friday, and so what that means is we're doing Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, with Thursday being gi, which is an interesting addition. But it means that I'm going to probably be able to do like Wednesday evening and potentially even you know, train with some of the evening guys and just open up my training. So my training is going to hopefully improve drastically. My coaching as well. I'm kind of weaving all the way through the topic here, but essentially, like, we had a really good morning this morning, and we had a new guy come in who's one of the dads. It's very much a dad culture now. There's 4 dads there, and it's fucking cool. You know, like, he came in, he's very fit, he's very strong. I was actually, like, at first I was like, oh, is he going to be able to... I didn't do boxing with the gloves. I did the boxing tag, so I reverted back to that. And man, I was just looking at this guy, I'm like, yeah, he's fine for boxing, you know. So we will probably put that in, but like the games that we're playing and this and that, and you know, like Levi, he gasses me up, man, and like I appreciate that dude so much, because he points out the things that not necessarily I'm insecure about. Like, I'm not insecure about them at all anymore. Like, it's just I kind of go, are people getting stuff out of it? And then I see him going, man, that's such a good fucking game. And then he explains why it's a good game, and I'm just like, that was my exact intention. The fact that someone who is a extremely similar level to me, and who then is like, man, I don't know how you're doing it, but like, he's like, the fact that you are able to coach to the room, to the individual, to the day of the week, to the time, like, you're constantly adapting. He's like, man, it's so cool to see, and I just fucking, I get frizz on, I'm like, man, that's cool, because I've put a lot of effort, I put a lot of time, I was saying to him that, last year when I had a fucking shitty boss, yeah, you're a shit boss, bro. I spent so much of that downtime that he probably had reason to say you're a fucking you're taking the piss, but he probably didn't as well, because I put my fucking hours in, and there's only so much you can do. But like, I did so much research. I read so much. I consumed so much information about this, and like, I'm not university educated or anything like that, but I'm not a dumb cunt, and like, even now, so yeah, I'll just reverse a little bit, because I just said I'm not a dumb cunt, and then I'm going to be like trying to be humble again. This is going to be a long video. I'm not going to quick video it this time. So I did the webinar, got up at 6 a.m. on Sunday. Can't remember if I uploaded anything saying that I did this. To be honest, I definitely think that it was kind of, it wasn't something that me personally I needed. I can see the benefits of someone who was starting out, who were like, if I had got that webinar in December 2023, I would have been fucking stoked. Even January, February 2023. But by that stage, I was so deep in the literature. And I was so deep in the practical application that, yeah, I would probably think, yeah, February, March maybe. I would have loved it back then, but for like now, and again, I'm not an expert by any means. Like, I've just been putting this stuff into play and then looking at my room, so it probably is something completely different. Like, you got, I'm pretty sure it's Adam Singer from SBG, Scott Seavright, who was the first person I spoke to on this channel. Like, the first person. I didn't even really, like, and sorry, bro, for saying this, but I didn't even know about the Primal MMA podcast when you got in touch with me via thingy. So, but when I researched who you were, I was like, my God, this guy's fucking huge in MMA coaching, not just MMA coaching, but, you've been using this CLA stuff for a while. And I don't know, like, I watched one of the games from Adam, and it felt like a little bit of extra instruction. I don't know the room, I don't know anything about it, but when I was looking at it, I was like, is that especially for the webinar people who I felt it was aimed at, which was people who I felt that it was aimed at people who were sold on the idea but didn't know where to start, and or were in that first 2 to 3 steps. So they were like, they'd started playing games, but they'd kind of gone, I don't know if I'm doing this right. That was my takeaway from it, and so in that case, maybe the games were relevant. Yeah, maybe I was looking at it from too much from a lens too far down the track, maybe. Because yeah, as constrained games, they were somewhat constrained. Yeah, actually, I'm gonna take back some of the take back some of the thoughts that I had about it. I think maybe I paid the money. I'm happy to pay the money. I don't care, man. Like, I want CLA. I want to be. I want this to grow, basically, because a rising tide lifts all ships. Yeah. So the fact that I looked at that and went, okay, and Levi said something awesome to me, which was like, I thank this guy for being part of the part of my membership and part of part of my life in general, because he said to me, like, you're on a journey, and like, you're looking back at that and going, well, that's a bit further back than where I am in my journey. I was like, fuck, that's a great way to look at it. Like, it really is a much better way to look at it, because yeah, I mean, some of those guys there, they were I could see it in the chat. They were super excited to be there. They were like, oh, I'm looking forward to learning what this is all about and stuff. And it's like, yeah. And some of the questions were great. Don't get me wrong. Some of the questions were actually really fucking cool. Yeah. And just another thing, if you get the chance, have a watch of that podcast with the B team and Greg Souders and DeAndre and that sort of thing, because man, that was a fucking good podcast. Like, because it was not non-combative, it was fun, it was relaxed. Like, even when it was combative, it was like, it was fun and relaxed. So yeah. Anyway, biggest takeaways from this week. One, on you, bro. Fucking, I know you probably, I don't know if it's some of the things Greg said in the past. He's like, I'm not sure I like people in this, not like people in the space, but I don't want to talk to some people in the space. And I've asked Greg a couple of times if he wants to have a chat, and he said, and the silence has said more than him actually saying something, if that makes sense. So, and because there's a couple of times on some podcasts where he's gone like, there's people in the space that I don't really agree with, or, and I think maybe because I've been opinionated, I've kind of put myself in that space a little bit. I feel like I have pared myself back a little bit as well, from that opinionated thing, and really moved into the reflective stage. I don't know if there is a reflective stage, but Greg, congratulations, bro. Thank you, man. You're you're an ambassador, and I appreciate you so much. For the rest of you all, CLA is coming. CLA is on the way. Or as Levi says, CLA is the way. Anyway, Sam Battlefields, Much love, war, and peace.